All right. Good
All right.
morning.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday morning real estate marketing show with Ruthie Rocks, Ruth Allbrand, and Marketing Max. This is show number 73, if you can believe that.
That's hard to believe.
Hard to believe, but it feels so natural to wake up every morning to go do the shows. It's like I'm actually going on. It feels like going on TV, but like, I mean, it kind of is, I guess.
Yeah.
But we got an interesting show today because there's a lot of changes happening in Facebook right now. Ruth and I were kind of just chatting about it beforehand, and it probably has some dramatic effects on what's going on in the strategies and the methods and how we're going to advertise, especially with real estate. And something that I've kind of alluded to a long time ago, and I don't know who talked about it. One of my internet marketing mentors, he talks about like at one point or another, all these different channels are going to change. And we got to go back to the old ways, the tried and true ways of making sure that we maintain lists, right? Either in written form with contact information, or use mediums like email that, will never go away, will never be replaced by anything else in order to stay in front of our contacts. So we'll touch base on that today. Our topics related to the new changes to Facebook. But before we head into that, Ruth, what's going on in Las Vegas? Any new changes in the stats that are happening?
Well, let me tell you one stat. I think John and I took on more than we can handle with having two puppies at the same time. Can you see the screen?
All right. Yes. John.
So they're growing. They're growing. You got Maggie and Rocky there, and it is a handful raising two puppies. In the past, we have had one older puppy that helped the younger puppy, and now we have John and I training two puppies, and it's really overwhelming. I have to tell you, some days I think it's the straw.
The puppies are training you guys. That's what's happening right now, apparently.
Man, I'll tell you, it's really something. Yeah, it's really something. So, life is changing quickly. Talking about the stats, getting to the stats, I'm just always blown away about what's going on. Ivan Shear was pushed down to number 4. And he was pushed down to number 4 by the iBuyer platforms. You've got Open Door as number 1. They've done 572 transactions this year. And I believe, let me get you the right number. There's been 30,000 transactions this year. That's good. But a lot of those are, I'm looking at them, well, not too many are smaller properties. But anyway, the median price that Open Door is listing and selling is $290,000. So he's competing again with the meat. They're competing with the meat of the market. And then you have the non-MLS, and these are the people who flip houses and things like that. They've done about 246 transactions with the median price of $399, which is interesting to me that their price point is a little higher.
Yeah, that is interesting.
The Zillow representative here, his office has sold 309 houses. And of course, now you have to remember that these numbers don't include the homes that are bought directly, like from Zillow, that they just, because of their data, they know who's getting ready to sell based on people doing Zestimates. So they go and contact those people directly, so it doesn't hit the MLS. So these numbers don't reflect that type of an event. And the median price is hanging in there, around $313.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to change that much this year. And we've talked about that at length over time. The interest rates aren't going to change. We still have people moving here. And so I think that's not going to not going to go up or down too much. I think
Right.
it's going to stay within. I think we started out at 296 at one point. Now we're up to 313, but now we're in the, the healthy time of the market when there's lots of deals going on. So more
Right.
competition is going to supply and demand is going to raise the prices. So that's about all that's really happening.
Yeah. There's actually
Which is good. I don't like a lot of drastic changes. I'm sure nobody else does
no,
either.
it really does. I actually had a friend, I guess, who bought a new townhouse here in town on the southwest side of town. And I guess they're not moving as quickly now. And they're giving incentives now, which is, I didn't realize that was happening. But it started, I mean, we're seeing the beginning phases of potentially the market kind of just really getting back to normal. I mean, really a normal market, right? I mean, Vegas always is like a boom or bust kind of like roller coaster ride in this real estate market. And I think it's just slowing down just to the right amount where, one is going to start weeding out all the people who are part-time, non-professional real estate agents and stuff like that. But that's how the cycle works. So interesting times here, but yeah, a lot of things happening though. A lot of things happening.
I predict instead of 13,000 agents, it's going to whittle down to half of that sooner than later. Wow. Just because with the iBuyer platforms taking that meat of the market, it only seems logical to me that it's going to happen. I mean, if they're doing 1,500 transactions, that's 1,500 transactions that other people weren't doing. And it's affecting, of course, like I did say last week or the week before, it's affecting some of the major players too, especially the major players have generally been more of the listing agents,
right,
having more control of the market. And they're looking here at, Frank, he's only listed 14 homes this year. Frank Napoli. That's right. Amazing to me. Yeah. Open Door. Here's Lisa. I forgot. She's also at Open Door. And let me see, Lisa, where I lost her there for a second. Lisa. She's on about 60 transactions. It's just amazing, the listings that they're taking. And I know from talking to listing agents that it's down. I talk to a lot of brokers and the listing numbers are down. So I've always believed you go where the puck is going and people are moving here. So jump on the buyer train.
Right. For now, at least. And then, I just recently came back from a work seminar talking about focusing on how to help wealth managers focus on referrals and making sure that you tap into your existing client base. And we'll probably touch on this a little bit later as we talk about building lists and stuff like that. But you got to have a process to garner out referrals. And one of the methods that he talked about was how often are you, and I actually talked to Aaron Taylor about this 2 weeks when he was on the show, or 3 weeks ago when he was on the show. It's like, how often are you polling your prior clients to see, their level of satisfaction, asking them what you've done well, and asking them what could they improve upon, what you could improve upon in the process for them so that it helps them continue to elevate in their own minds the value of your product or service. Right. And so I think as a community and as a profession that we do need to do a better job of understanding the client more. The reason why Zillow, like I said, an Open Door, and I've said this multiple times in the show, exists is because they did a better job of finding a gap and a hole and a need and a concern within the client's mind. And then they, jumped on it. And that's why they exist. And that's why they have the products and services they have. So I wanted to say that just because we need to do a better job. When's the last time you sat down with a client after you closed on the transaction with them and actually asked them, like, I want you to consider me for your next transaction. And I hope my service was so great that you wouldn't even think about anyone else. And part of my services to you is I want to help you understand what you think is valuable in this whole process, where there's concerns, and then really write those things down and then improve upon your own process and the experience for the client based on that feedback. Yeah. I don't think we do. I think all business people and professionals do a poor job of that. And the ones that do it well are the companies that grow into billion-dollar companies, so. Anyways,
we're going to talk about and we're going to talk about the groups and lists today. And what you just said gave me an idea. of what people can do with their groups, and that is ask for what people's comments were about their performance or about the transaction or about the real estate market in general.
Right.
It doesn't have to be personal to the agent. It can just be about the experience of buying a home or selling a home.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure.
So I have a question for you, technical, because I can see that my internet is foggy. If I take myself down,
right,
and can I bring myself back up?
You can take yourself down, you bring yourself up, but I believe so.
I'm going to check. It. Can you see how fuzzy I am?
You are a little fuzzy. I was going to say
it's getting better now, though.
It actually is. It actually is getting a little better.
Okay, well, I'm not going to mess with it. Let's talk about Facebook.
Yes.
Because Facebook, I guess almost now 2 weeks ago, Mark Zuckerberg, in response to all the criticisms that he's had, I'm sure, they have been doing a lot of changing. And they had the F8 seminar that Zuckerberg gave. And if you go to newsroom.fb.com, you can get all the changes and updates that they have done. And I have listened to, read a little bit about that, listened to some of my mentors in the industry, like Katie Lance and Gary Vee and Kim Garth, about some of the changes and try to adapt it to, what I do with Agent Formula and our classes. And I think that we could talk a little bit about groups, because Facebook's trying to get more private and personal with all the criticisms they'd have about fair housing. And I mean, we just were like the wild, wild west when Facebook first came out with the business pages, because we could target anybody making any type of income. We were breaking all the fair housing rules, not intentionally, but it was there. And if it was there, we thought it was okay to use. So I don't think anybody intentionally did it, at least not in Las Vegas. Right.
I think it was a passing thought, right? Because it was such a new medium to use that it didn't correlate over, and there was no oversight on it. And now there is. And I don't think anyone was going like, oh, wow, we can redline now. Fantastic. Right. No one was saying that. It was just like, we know stats, right? The NAR gives us national stats and stuff like that, and we wanted to focus on the ability to target the group of people that had a high propensity of buying and selling real estate. I mean, that's, from a marketing standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world. Obviously, with real estate and the Fair Housing Act and stuff like that, I mean, it makes it a little bit more complicated. And now there's reform, and there's rules and regulations, which are good again.
Yeah. So I think the first thing that we should talk about with our group is our group that watches us, is that they need to look at their personal page and make sure that they're updating their profile, make sure they're updating all their information, because people are going to go there to see them if they're going to do business with them. But the other thing is that you can create lists, and you can go to Facebook, and Facebook can tell you how to create lists. It's not that difficult. And if you don't know, you can go to bookmark/lists, and it will tell you exactly how to do it. Right. But you first of all, you have to be a friend with the person that you're putting on your list or in your group. Right. And you can add the friends to a custom list. So you can have your past clients, you can have your future clients, and you can have your current clients, or you can have just clients. Right. And then you can separate your realtor friends in a realtor list. You can separate your family and friends. You can separate, the people that you graduated from college or high school with. So it's a very useful tool, because you don't always want to tell everybody everything. And this gives you a way to shout out to, your
specific list. Right. Yeah, the benefit and the reason why you want to do this. And a shout out to Shane Nguyen, a realtor, really good, successful realtor here in town, prior president of the, ARIA, the Asian Realtor Association here in Las Vegas. But one of the things he did early on on Facebook is created lists, because he didn't want all his friends to see just real estate related stuff, and all the real estate friends to see, personal stuff. And so, he created these segmented lists. And the reason why you want to do this is like twofold. One, you don't want to burn out your audience on irrelevant information that they're not interested in, right? Because it creates bad algorithms on Facebook, because if there's no engagement on your post, or they show your post less. And two, when you show relevant information to targeted lists, you get more interaction, right? You get more likes, you get more comments, and so that perpetuates and helps build that post to be reposted on Facebook, Instagram, all those, everybody. If you have more comments, engagement, your posts are going to be displayed more than the ones that don't. So
yes. Yeah. And if you don't know how to do it, from your news feed, you go to the explore section on the left and you click friend list. And then you just start adding your friends to that particular list, and you can give it any name that you want. And then when you want to just post to those people, you write your post and you click the little down arrow, and it goes out to that particular friend list, your past clients, future clients, like I said before. And it's a great way to be really personal, and just generate the love out there and get people to know you. And we preach, I use that word because I do preach about the 5, 5, and 5. 5 likes, 5 shares, and 5 comments. And you really need to start being intentional, because Facebook is looking at that. It's not just liking things, and it's quality, and it's actually being intentional with the people. And you can be more intentional with people when they're segmented into groups.
Exactly right.
So, yeah.
And like I said, it's more contextual in the content that you build for that particular group or list that you build. So, I mean, imagine going into an event, a social event live, and all you're doing is just walking past people and saying hi, or telling the entire audience that you just had breakfast at blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The majority of the room is not going to be interested. Right.
That's right.
And just because you waved hi to them doesn't mean you built a deeper relationship with them. That's, that's because everybody else is in the room doing the same thing. And that's the problem with the social that's coming online, is that, the crowd is doing that, and there's too many distractions. So,
and just to, and I know people say, well, my clients aren't on Facebook. And I think somebody did a survey and they said, well, 50 to 60% of your clients are probably on Facebook.
Right.
And, social media is not the silver bullet. I heard Katie Lance say that last week. And we've had Aaron Taylor on several times, and he is someone who has built a book of business without social media, and continues to rank in the top 25 realtors in Las Vegas because he stays in touch intentionally with his clients, his past clients, his future clients. Our company manages the properties for him that he has sold houses to. They give him referrals. He's always in touch with them.
Right.
If he sees that some tenant, really destroyed one of his homes, which happened a couple months ago.
Right.
Aaron actually stepped up and assisted in the cost of some of those repairs, which, because if you think about it, he probably sold that home to the client, to the investor.
Right.
The investor's probably given him referrals.
Right.
And at some point, he may sell that investor another home, sell that investor's personal home, or sell the investor's investment home. I mean, there's a myriad of potential business there when you help people. And
Absolutely.
if you're in touch with them like he is, then you can help people. But because he's calling them, because he's popping by to see them, because he's giving his client parties.
And he's also advertising at the Las Vegas ballpark too. I actually was at it's not called 50, it's the Aviators games 3 weekends ago. And, he does the foul ball every time you get a foul ball, or every other time him and Dustin trade off. And there's one other thing that happens too. But there was 2 two crowds in the background that said like, "Hey, they didn't show Aaron Taylor's commercial." I'm like, wow, in a stadium of random people, thousands of people, his name is being spoken out by random, people who've seen his ad or are a client of his or has worked with him. The fact is that is anyone screaming out your name in a random place no. Is my point, right? Because Aaron Taylor, for some reason, has figured out without the heavy use of online social media, he's doing a really good job with the radio show and also his offline advertisements, so that he's obviously captured the mind share of some of these people.
Well, last night he threw out the first pitch of the game.
Oh, did he? Oh, yes. Awesome. Yeah, stuff
yes.
like that, right?
So Aaron spends a tremendous amount of money on advertising, but it didn't happen overnight.
No.
I know that in 2008, Aaron had no money. Mm-hmm. And so in the past 10 years, he has built up his client base again and is truly successful and just starting to dabble into some of the social media, but not like everybody else should be. Because he has this book of business.
Right.
And this advertising budget who can spend $50,000 a month advertising? You have to be making at least 3 times that to be able to do it. So,
right.
And it's, it's not
5 times.
It's not a secret.
Financially savvy. 20 to 25% of your paycheck should go back into marketing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
To be comfortable, right? So
to be comfortable, yes. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the list. Mm-hmm. And then creating a group. Now, groups are going to Facebook is really pushing groups right now. And if you have a group of past clients and you can speak to them in a group, you can do live videos. You can give, I would say, regular, consistent tips to them. Mm-hmm. And they have to be meaningful. One of the things that Facebook is really getting into is, and I said this earlier, intentional content, contextual content. Right. And if you are being intentional and you are doing live video or even batching your videos so that maybe you spend this weekend batching 4 or 5 videos that you are going to then post to your group in June. So maybe every Monday you're going to say, coffee with Ruthie, it's Monday morning tips, and then give tips to your clients. And consistency always is important, as we know.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's a thought on groups too. I mean, it's great if you can moderate and create your own groups. But I can tell you something that's tried and true and has been effective for years now is joining groups where your prospective clients are, right, and being an active contributor to that group, and putting content that's not salesy, like not, hey, I'm a realtor, use me, but like if someone asks a question, right? So I'll give you a real life example. I'm starting a marriage like communication resolution type of product and service for couples with like underage children. So the first thing I did was I joined all these marriage groups, right, on Facebook, and then joined a really popular, followed a really popular marriage, related person on Instagram that had like hundreds of thousands of followers with a really active, like when they posted something, they had like 100+ comments, 100 likes and real comments with people tagging other people and like having conversations. So the first thing I did was join these groups, got in front of this list and started contributing to the conversation. And this is what Gary Vee says all the time. Is like, be a contributor. Don't be a taker when you're trying to enter a market. Right. Yes. And from several different like real posts and answering people's questions, because one couple things happened. One, I realized, wow, there's a consistent question that people are asking. So what am I going to do? I'm going to build a product around that consistent question, right? 2, several people just DM'd me and reached out to me. Hey, I really appreciate your comment there. I have another question for you. And then I would just ask the question. I didn't have a product or service to really push onto them yet. And I'm glad I don't, because now I can just be in a place of contribution to them. And guess what? I mean, those are the seeds that happen, right? And you end up, when you create good content, when you contribute to a community, right, and are viewed as a person that provides good, relevant help, people will be attracted to you, and you're going to get people pulling and reaching out to you instead of always having to push. But it all starts with contributing to a group.
Yes. And there's Las Vegas Life Group. There's a lot of groups about people who love Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. I know John Matzis is a member of one of those groups, and he talks about it in our social media class and gives everybody the name of it. And he has actually working with a client from the group because of just what you said. What I love is we have so much information here to share with people. There is always something going on in Las Vegas. I mean, this week they talked about the underground train. They talk about, I don't think they call it a train. They talk about, some of the things that people are retrofitting downtown. And now Symphony Park is going to build a high-rise apartment complex with rents ranging from $1,400 to $4,000, and people that want to live downtown in that environment. And it's going to be, it's going to have a huge fitness center, and it's going to be built around fitness. So what a great topic to share with a group. God bless you.
See,
you okay?
I thought I paused that. Sorry, excuse me. I thought I muted myself.
If you just follow the Review Journal, and Review Journal to me does a great job of reporting the development and the projects around town. There are always something going on.
Right. I want to shout out another realtor here. I mean, I've been acquaintances with her on Facebook for a long time now. I actually approached her one day to do a YouTube video with me, and we were able to touch base. Her name's Jillian Batchelor, of Realty One here in town. And one of the things I've seen her do lately with her partner is do some of these more kind of like high quality videos. Where she stood out in front of the Raiders Stadium. She did another model home. But really quality, production with relevant information about Las Vegas. I'm like, yeah, she gets it, right? She's always been doing that in the past. When I started doing my research about 3.5, 4 years ago, when, right before I met you, Ruth, I wanted to see what other realtors were doing from a marketing perspective. And she was one of the very first ones online that popped up on YouTube searches about Las Vegas real estate, short sales. Interestingly enough, she had a really popular short sale video, and if you go actually look at Las Vegas short sale, my short sale video with another realtor is now like one of the top 2 with over 17,000 views, which I've never pumped an advertiser or anything, which is crazy. That I generate leads to this day every once in a while. Like I'll have a person text me.
What should I search for?
Las Vegas. Short sale home Las Vegas.
Short sale home Las Vegas.
Right. So obviously, short sales are not a big thing nowadays, but back in 2014, 15, short sales were still kind of on the rise, and then now it's obviously tailed off a little bit. But
well, yeah, I think that quality video. When you say quality video, you're talking about the contents and the contextuality of it.
With her,
not necessarily that she's using fancy equipment.
She is. So she, because I'm a marketer, I notice a little bit of difference, right? I mean, a lot of people I can tell you right now, you don't need to use fancy equipment. If you have an iPhone 7 or better, right? You can shoot high quality video. At a professional level that 10 years ago couldn't be done for less than, $10,000.
Yes, exactly.
But now you can do it. But she's taking it to the next level, which I like because she's a very successful realtor in town. She's actually throwing a little bit more money to create just like Ivan Schur. His if you look at his property videos, he spent a little bit of money. It stands out from the crowd, and that's what Jillian's doing right now with her stuff, which I can appreciate because eventually, the noise, once everybody gets on board, everybody's going to shoot these, like what I call Blair Witch Project videos, the reality kind of videos where everybody's just on the shot and everything's shaking. But she's taking it to the next level, like Gary is, right? Gary V, if you look at the quality of his videos, some of his videos are him holding it, but majority of his videos now are him. And if it's still D-Rock, I haven't, I don't know.
Yes, it's still D-Rock.
Yeah, it's D-Rock filming him and then putting content, and then the editing guys throwing around all the stuff that, they put on the screen. Yeah. So it's just a notch up in quality from a production level.
So what's Jillian's last name so other people can maybe check?
Bachelor. Jillian Bachelor. Right.
And she works for Realty One. Okay, we'll look at her and maybe learn some things. And
yeah,
I like showing other realtors what in my classes what other realtors are doing, because it gives them a sense that there's competition out there. And if they don't get on the train, they're going to be left behind. I always say, get off the train, get on the plane, because I look at social media and the internet as the plane, and the train is the other way to do things.
Yes.
The shot in the dark type of things. So, so Zuckerberg said in F8 that the future is private. And so I'm just going to repeat again, I encourage everybody to create a list, create a group, and start communicating with your sphere of influence privately through those groups and giving valuable contextual content to them, and do some live videos and do some consistency with that. And you can batch them. And if you're going to batch like 5 or 6 videos at a time, people can usually just see you from the top up. So when I do it, I might take off my white shirt and put on a pink shirt, which takes like 2 seconds and then doesn't look like I batched it so much.
Right. What Ruth means by batch is pre-record like 5 different videos in one sitting and then schedule them to be uploaded or distributed on Facebook at different times. That's what she means by batch. Just in case everybody didn't
thank you. I come from old school.
Right.
So the other thing that Zuckerberg talked about was events. If you've looked at, excuse me for a second, I got a cough.
You got it. While she's coughing, I wanted to add another comment to, on top of that, one thing they're trying to push a lot is Messenger and WhatsApp, right? So one of the strategies that you probably want to start. Yeah, we're going to start thinking it. In the show? Are we going to get to that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hold my comment then.
Hold that comment. So I just want to say that Zuckerberg gave us a new design. If you looked at the logo and you looked at, the page, there's a new design. And now we even have an events tab, which I love. I love that. Absolutely love that events tab. And so those are 2 of the newer things. And in Messenger is going to be huge. One of the things that people can do now that I don't even know that a lot of people know they can do is, if it's somebody's birthday, you can go on the Messenger and sing them happy birthday. Wow. Or wish them in private happy birthday, which means a lot. It's not like you just posted it, you actually went in there, and you can do an audio. And the thing about audio is a lot of people don't like videos still. So you can give an audio happy birthday. Right. And my friend Joan Cups has been singing happy birthday to her agents ever since I can remember. So that's a lot of years.
Right.
And on their birthday, she gets on the phone and sings them happy birthday. If they don't answer the phone, it's on their voicemail. Right. Well, you can do the same thing now with Messenger. So I don't know about you, but my phone just blows up with so many robocalls that I do. And I still try to answer my phone as much as possible. But when I see certain numbers, I just click text
exactly
me,
right.
please.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Messenger, I think, is very, it's timely, because I'm tired of all the email spamming I'm getting. I'm tired of all the robocalling I'm getting. So I think Messenger is going to explode just because of those 2 feelings that I have. I'm sure if I have them, everybody else does too.
Text and Messenger. I mean,
Yes.
that's the preferable communication style right now in the current environment among millennials and even us, the people who are in business, right? So I want to get back to the events thing real quick.
Yes.
So we didn't skate over that because at one point or another, we're going to edit these videos and you're going to go and I want you to have your guy find, in episode probably like 4 or 5 or whatever. I've been saying this for years now, right? I told you like live events is what's going to be the next wave because people are getting burned out by just this online social stuff and they're going to want to go to a live event to interact with people live. That's what's happening. That's the trend, that the emotion of what Zuckerberg and Facebook are realizing too is that, oh, they're seeing engagement. And then, a lot of people post these events and they're attending. And then the event group, someone did a wedding, like one of my friends did a Facebook event wedding. And all we did was post pictures and conversations and stuff like that. And it's a great way to capture all that information in one place. Right. But so do online marketing capture to get your attention out. But the next level is to drive people. And Aaron Taylor's already ahead of the game, right? He's been doing this for years now, but to drive and use technology to get people to live events because they're going to want to interact in that way.
And to that point, we're bringing back our training center so that we can have live training, not just webinars, and we have those too, but live training where we interact with people. And we're going to use that training center for other things too, having events.
Yeah. And we can do this morning show a couple times a month at the training center and have people come by and a live audience ask questions too. That'd be kind of
yes,
cool.
Exactly. And you're right on with that idea, because that's where we're headed is, I said to, I'm on one of Gary Vee's special VIP texting platforms, and he truly believes that live is coming back as well.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. I have a dog in the background. Yeah, and Gary Vee holds live events. Every couple weeks, I believe he has a 4D event.
Yeah, 4D.
That's a live event.
There's a reason why he's doing that. He knows the power of that.
Interaction with people and networking, and it really takes for me, when I see agents in class, I can see where they come in scared half to death.
Right.
And then they start seeing, well, other people have the same issues, they have the same questions, and then all of a sudden they learn from somebody. Right. I mean, it's very basic, but we lost it for a while.
Yeah, we lost it because we got romanced by this whole online thing that we're doing, right? Which is great, awesome. The reach that we're able to get is far greater than we've ever thought we could imagine. But now it's time to really come back to what humans really strive for, and one of the basic human needs is human connection. Yes. And we get that artificially through this online medium, but we're deep down inside like wanting that live interaction and immersion process. And that's why Tony Robbins and all those guys who've done seminars for decades now have been so successful, is because the method of immersion into a live event, the energy in the room, right? The collective energy that you can't replace that online. That's just something you can't replace, as no matter how I'm a big Deepak Chopra, Dr. Joe Dispenza kind of believer, where thoughts and things are energetic. You can send it out in a field, but if you concentrate it, much like a laser, right? If you can concentrate it in one area, in one group of people, where 1,000 lasers are emitting energy to a focused point, you can't replace that by dispersing people around the world or around the country with technology.
That's right. The other thing that F8 talked about was the algorithm. And they've done a few things to change the algorithm again, which they do all the time, which is good. They have to. I mean, they look at their analytics, their insights, and so they change the algorithm accordingly. And again, they're looking at quality of what's going on in the news feeds. And they're looking at originality. so that people are posting things that are original, not just passing on information from the New York Times or, the Las Vegas Review Journal, but putting their opinions and their take on what they're reading. Like if you're just read the article about the Symphony Park and about the new apartment complex, I mean, what's your opinion about that? And what do you think about it being more health and wellness driven?
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot that you can say. Just read the article. And of course, all this takes time. But I think we're getting back to where time and quality are so extremely important. And people are going to love it because they're tired of all the spamming of information.
Exactly right. And because information is so readily available now, like people can recognize, original content or content that has exactly. There's nothing original from a thought process, but the perspective is always original, right? So
yes,
people want your perspective, not necessarily the information. They want another way of looking at things, not just regurgitating something that they've already seen before. And so if you're looking out there about, what content do I build? Just take a news article and then share your thoughts on it.
Right.
That's it. Right.
It.
And that's literally it. Like,
and that's original content.
And that's original content.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get to implement what they call, momentum advertising or content building, which is you utilizing something that's already having like a lot of people talking about or searching for, and like big news events, then posting something, and that your content might more likely at that point be looked at simply because it's related to something that is really popular already. And so then you get to put your 2 cents in there, and then if you consistently do that, then people will start listening to your 2 cents even more.
Well, and getting back to how Zuckerberg is getting very high on groups and giving that importance, I just can't emphasize that enough, how you should be putting all your clients into a group and how the networking is going to explode doing that. And please do it now. Don't wait till everybody else does it. And then you're at the end of you're at the caboose of things. Start doing it now. I mean, it's 2 weeks old now that F8 occurred, and let's start applying what he's saying is important, which are listen groups, being intentional, and we're going to get into video in a second, but using Messenger, Facebook Messenger. I think they see the writing on the wall again with the emails and with the spamming that we see. And so Facebook Messenger is going to be really, really important. They're creating a new version of it where if you can download the app in 2 seconds. They've made it like 70 megabytes lighter so that it's the whole platform of Messenger is going to be faster.
Oh, wow.
I've never noticed it to be slow, but evidently, it was an issue. And they're going to make a desktop app as well for Messenger.
Oh, wow.
So they're really going all in with messengers, and they're going to be the algorithm is going to watch people doing live videos using Messenger as well. So it's going to become quite a communication device, if you will, an internet device. It
is. And I make international calls with it now. So with friends in Canada, and instead of using Skype, I'm using Facebook Messenger. Right? Surprisingly, I mean, what's cool about Skype is like there's softwares and stuff like that you can attach to it to be able to record your conversations and stuff like that. And so there's other apps right that I'm surprised, but Facebook is integrating a lot of these applications into one place. And,
yes.
And at the end of the day, we all, the reason why I don't use Skype is like, I don't want another platform to have to learn and use and stuff like that. And if I can do it all with Facebook, that's what I'm going to do.
And then I guess this is almost, let's see, we talked about the groups, the lists, Messenger, and then stories. There's 500 million people using stories.
Oh, wow.
That's huge.
huge.
Yeah, I did some stories this morning.
Right.
And that's another, now there's a new feature on it that you can, it's called the birthday story feature.
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Another tool, another good tool. And people say, well, the stories only last 24 hours, but the comments of the stories continue. You know, your comments will stay, but the stories themselves, they pass, which is good.
Which is good.
Because then it's fresh, new information.
Exactly right. The reason why it's become so popular because it doesn't basically, crowd your feed with just the same thing or stuff that you don't necessarily it's not evergreen, right? Where you're talking about a specific event. I'm at the Aviators game, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, no one 3 years from now is going to go back and look at that post anyways.
Right.
So let it disappear.
Yes.
So that people have to tune into your stories even more and not just be able to go onto your feed and see what you're up to.
The 500 million blew me away.
Yeah.
That figure. And then, of course, the last thing we want to talk about is video, how important it is. And there's 3 new suggestions, or let's say guidelines that Zuckerberg is saying. Number 1, your video needs to be intentional and needs to be to people that you're speaking to, a particular group of people who are loyal to you, or but it needs to generate loyalty too by being intentional. Right. So it's a kind of a twofold number 1 there. Number 2 is the duration. Duration depends on the context and the content, and if it's interesting.
Sure.
So if you want to give an hour, like we give an hour of information, and people know it's an hour, they know it's an hour, and they can move in and out of it, whatever. But for the most part, it's amazing how many people actually watch us for more than 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you can look into your insights and, go to your video views and see how long people are watching it. And of course, Facebook posts how many people see it. Right. And the beautiful thing about video, and they talk about this in the newsroom, is repost it, repurpose it, change the thumbnail, put captions on it. Caption videos get a lot more interaction. And if you don't know how to caption it using the free feature that Facebook has, we'll show you in our class how to do it. And then there's also the rev.com app that you upload the video to. It captions it, you download it, and then you post it, and then you share it with your friends, and you repost it, you put it on, the different platforms, and repost it 3 times is what I would suggest. And then maybe in another 3 to 4 months, repost it again, depending on the content and how relevant it is.
Right.
And again, number 3 is originality. You need to be original. Right. I mean, I think Gary Vee set the standard for originality.
Right. But the thing is, all he's doing is giving his perspective. And that's the original content that he's building around it. It's not that he's creating something drastically new, self-awareness, right? I mean, come on. That subject has been around forever. But he's put his own perspective and his own life lens on that. And that's what makes it interesting, because we're tuning in not to know more about self-awareness. We're tuning in to see his perspective from a person that, came from almost nothing to where he is right now. What his take on self-awareness is.
Exactly. And with video, you break it down into 3 types of videos. You've got live video like we're doing now. And this is a little bit more sophisticated because we are interviewing each other, if you will, or we can interview. Right. Normally we have someone that we interview, but it's conversation back and forth. So that's a little bit, to me, real estate agents should do more of it, interview their their lenders, interview their inspectors, like we do,
Right.
you know,
Right. Exactly.
trying
Right.
to show them how to do it and what to do. And then you can do the recorded video where you record it and then you can maybe add some things to it, or, you know, you can actually edit it. A lot of people do that. I don't necessarily have the time to do that.
Right.
And then you can also take graphics and photos and create a video. So those are the 3 types of videos that are feeding the algorithm for Facebook now.
Right. That's good. I mean, good 3 tips. And so, I mean, we're running right about almost the hour mark here. So if you know, if everybody wants to learn a little bit more on how to do all these things.
Yes. I know. I didn't even do that. So let me do it real quick. Our class is right around the corner, and this is one of the things you can do with BeLive. You can actually go in there and type
up a banner right away.
Yeah, right away, especially when you forgot it. Oh, boy. Okay, so we got 12 hours of learning, and it's June 5th, 6th, and 7th, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Ticor Title. And it's 12 hours of intensive training on social media tactics and strategies. And everything that you do with social media should be a tactic that feeds into a strategy. And that's what we teach you, because time is your most precious thing. And we teach you how to save time by not doing things that aren't going to give you a return.
Right.
And that's critical. And all these things that Facebook is coming out with, as you know from this morning, I spend so much time updating myself and going out there and listening to other people's opinions on how the changes are affecting our real estate industry and other industries as well. And if you want to come and learn all those things and stay updated, once you take the class, and when you take the class, you actually have joined our academy, and then you can take that class as many times as you want to, over and over and over again, because things change. And if you didn't start doing things like you should, you come back and you take it over again till you get that muscle memory going and you start doing it consistently.
Right.
And we do have Instagram that we have not had for 2 months just because of all the changes. I mean, they have done drastic changes to Instagram. Yeah. I think our next Instagram class, we're trying to schedule for August in our training center.
Okay.
And we are not going to have training in July, except we're going to have our review classes every Thursday in July. So people that have taken the class and want to come in and have a refresher on how you do the Facebook ads, or how you do the LinkedIn things that we do, or how you create a group, how you do lists, all those things, if you want to come back and refresh yourself on them or start doing them, because you know, it takes, there's so much that we teach you how to do.
Sure.
And you want to come back and learn how to do it better or learn it again. So July, we're going to continue to have those Thursday classes from 1 to 3 at the 8400 West Sahara building. The RE/MAX sign will be coming down. The social media center sign will be going up.
Yeah. All right.
And the real estate center, it's going to be like an office building now, not necessarily a branded building.
You got it.
Yeah. So it's exciting times ahead for us.
Exactly.
I don't know if I could do one more thing. This remodeling of the building is very time consuming. I'm doing it from the landscaping to the paint to the roof to the patio, and I'm moving inside the first week of June to start doing the training center and demolishing some of that far north end of the building or west end of the building, which is where the training center is going to be. So it's all exciting for me, and I can't be quiet about it.
Right. No, it's something to look forward to, because we're going to.
It's a new chapter. It's a new chapter in my life, and I'm so excited to be starting this new venture. It's just going to be exciting, and if I can help more people all the time, that'll just keep me happy. And like Gary Vee says, don't you want to be happy?
Yeah, exactly right. Don't you want to be happy? All right,
Max,
Ruth.
thank you so much. We ate up another hour on a Saturday morning. It's been fun, exciting, and I'm learning more and more about these new things that Facebook's come out with. and how to build better to build better tactics and better strategies for us to use them and to continue to thrive in this business and stay ahead of the iBuyer platforms.
Absolutely. So come back next Saturday. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to our troops and people who have served in the U.S. to preserve our freedoms for us to be able to do what we do this morning.
We're so fortunate.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.